Hey guys, it's Kirby and I'm back with my June TBR. So this month I have 8 books planned out for this week. So I'm going to try to do roughly 2 a week. Some of them I have in physical copies. About half of them probably I have in physical copy. And for the rest of them, I'm just going to have to put an image on the screen for you over here. The first book that I have on my TBR is called Pomegranate. And it's by Nicole Scarano. She's an indie author. And one of my goals for this year was to try to read at least one book from an indie author every month. So, and I've been doing okay with that. I've been doing pretty good with that. So Pomegranate is supposed to be a gender swap story of our retelling of Hades and Persephone, which Hades and Persephone is my favorite like go-to love story if it's told the way I want it to be told. I would prefer it if the Persephone is a stronger, I want to stay character as opposed to the maiden who gets just swept away and hidden away in the underworld. I don't want that. I don't want her to be a strong female protagonist. But that doesn't apply here because it's gender swapped. So I've read the first chapter already. And it feels very strange because I see Hades like this. Not as a woman. So that's going to take some getting used to. I have high hopes for a living. The second one that I'm going to read is actually a graphic novel called Vinland Saga. So one of the booktubers that I watch loved it like a year ago. And it also has an anime show attached to it. So if I really like the graphic novel, I will probably also try to watch that and see. But it is a Viking-esque story of a young boy who, it's a boy who as a child he was told by Leif Erikson, used to tell him a bunch of stories about a land to the far west, I think, that where there's no war and it's just love and peace all the time. So this is what he dreams of. It's like his promised land. And from what I understand, very early in the story, his family gets attacked by another Viking clan, and his family just gets like eradicated. But he's taken in by this new group of Vikings, and he's trained by them. He's going to be a warrior. I think that he's some form of enslavement is happening there. But I'm not sure. He might just have been taken in by them and raised by them. But the whole time that he's training and he's becoming a warrior, he is eventually going to plot out his revenge for his family. And I think that it's going to be really interesting, and the art looks great on it. So that's the second one. The third is called Firebreak by Nicole Kornher-Stace, or Stacy. I'm not sure how she pronounced it. This is a dystopian society where corporations pretty much control everything. And I don't mean the way that they control now. I mean they control everything. You can't just turn on your water faucet and have water come out. You have to have water vouchers. And that seems like it's going to be the biggest thing in this series is water, because you can't live without water. So the main character is a girl, or a lady, I guess a woman. I think she's in her early 20s. She lives in a almost hostel type situation. I think there's like 8 or 10 of them in this hotel suite, maybe. And they all have several jobs, but the job that she's the best at is a VR video game. She has a best friend who is her partner in the game, and very early on, like in the first chapter ish, they come across a special character that you get extra points for finding, and the character speaks to her. And then she dies and the game is over, or the electricity gets cut off or something. Because they have curfew on electricity too. Corporations control everything. They are contacted by this mysterious benefactor who's offering just buku water and other payments if they can find more of these special characters in the game, because they're saying that the characters were not created by the company that's controlling everything. They were actually kids whose families had been killed, or they had died due to lack of resources, or whatever the case was. And they took those kids and they're basically caging them up and using them for this video game. And that's pretty much all that I know about that one. The first one that I have is Strang the Dreamer. I'm sure most of y'all have heard of this one. It's about Laszlo Strange, this boy who was kind of obsessed with this fictional city of, well, the name has been forgotten. So for now they call it the City of Weep. And he was raised by monks, and he got shifted over to the library. He studies all of the books looking for artifacts about the City of Weep. And I'm not really sure what happens after that, because I haven't really heard anybody say what it's about, other than he goes on an adventure looking for this mythical city that he's been obsessed with since he was a baby or a child. But it's very pretty. I'm going to jump on the bandwagon. Next on my physical TBR, I have Way of Shadows by Brent Weeks. And I know nothing about this series other than it's an assassin series by Brent Weeks. I know I love Brent Weeks' work, and I love assassin stories, so we're gonna try it and see. I'm pretty excited about it, really. I have two on my TBR from the Cassandra Clare read along that I told y'all about last time, but neither one of them are part of the main story. They're the side book. First, we have the Bane Chronicles. This is a book of short stories about Magnus Bane, who is currently the High Warlock of Brooklyn. Magnus is most people's favorite character in the series, or in this series from her, because he's always over the top with the glitter and the dancing and the silk, and he's just suave, and he's immortal, so he's 500 years old or something, so he's wise. I don't know how wise he is, because he's hanging out with these stupid kids, but Magnus Bane gives me life. And then we have Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy. And I can't really even say who this is about without giving away everything that happens in the last book. But we're going to follow, in this book, we follow one of the characters from the Mortal Instruments and training to become a Shadowhunter, if they can get past the cup. So I'm also pretty excited about this. I think I've read 2 stories from back whenever she was putting them out originally, and they were really good. So I'm pretty excited to actually get into that one. Then I have Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. So Dark Matter by Blake Crouch is a story about a guy. From what I can tell, it's about a story that the guy had just a mediocre, just a regular life. He had a family that he cared about, and he had a job that he went to. And then he woke up. One morning he woke up and he was in a completely different life, which on the surface was spectacular and wondrous and everything that most people would dream of. But he no longer had his family, and his life was just completely different. So it's him trying to figure out what happened and how to get back to his real life. So I'm assuming that's a sci-fi thing. The book club read of the month is Serpent and Dove, so I'll be starting on that soon. I don't have a physical copy of it, so I'll be putting an image on the screen for that one. Serpent and Dove, I honestly don't know a lot about that one either, other than it is a witch and a witch hunter who, for some reason, are forced to get married. And I think that she knows he's a witch hunter, but he does not know she's a witch. So I'm sure hilarity will ensue. I don't really know anything about that book, though, other than that. So we'll get that one, and I'll have that probably in my wrap-up. Or I might do a singular review for that one, since it's the book club pick of the month. And finally, if we have time, I will be reading Days of Blood and Starlight. Many, many moons ago, I read The Daughter of Smoke and Bone from Laini Taylor, and I absolutely loved it. It was so original, and it was so weird. It was weird. But I loved it. I loved the wishmonger and the whole little found family that Carew had. And it was, at the time, it was one of my favorite fantasy books. And I think Prague is the perfect setting for weird fantasy. I mean, it's naturally just like that. So, Days of Blood and Starlight is the second installment in the Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy. And I've just never gotten to it. Whenever I read it, the first one was the only one out. And now she's put out many, many more books because that was years ago. So I've reread the first one maybe 6 or so months ago. And I'm finally going to try to make time to get to the second one if I have time with my other books on my TBR. So if any of you guys are interested in any of the books that I said, I'm going to try to have a link for them in the description so you can go read more about them. And if any of y'all want to buddy read any of these books, or if you like any of the books, if you've read them and you liked them, leave a comment down below and let me know. If y'all want to buddy read any of these, let me know that, and maybe we can set up something for that. So anyways, that's my June TBR. If you liked what you saw and you want to see more content from this channel, drop your like, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys again next time. Bye.